Hola, hola, já jsem Český Karma a vítám vás, dámy a pánové, u dalšího pokračování z hry Outer Worlds. Dámy a pánové, v minulém díle jsme se museli vloupat do toho posraného vězení, abychom osvobodili Finiase, ale máme v testičce tady tohoto čuráka. A jelikož jsme už proti podobným botům bojovali, ale tento je jiný bot než normálně, takže jsem, aspoň tuším, že se jedná o nějakého bosse. Takže, dámy a pánové, jdeme ho kurva bosse porazit. Nevím, jak moc je inteligentní, jestli bude tupej nebo chytrej, co já vím. Ahoj. Jako máš štítek. A ukáž. OK. Jde na mě, že? Počkej. Takže můžu přebíjet a běhat zároveň. Yes. Další čuráci tady. Ale to nedíky teda. Proč tak při Dark Souls? Já nechci hrát Dark Souls tady. Kurva, nestačí to, že se jí naživu. OK, ještě co? Dávám tento kalibr. Jak jsou to roboti, takže to nebude takový problém. Kurva, je to v piči, Horste. To si děláš prdel, ne. OK, trošku těžší boss fight teda. OK, musím začít ty malý boty, protože ty jsou největší sráči tady, podle mě. OK, můžu si vyhealovat. A už mi dojebana. Je dojebana, že? Není dojebana. Já nevím, proč mi střílí pomalu. Tato už je dojebana. OK, healuj se, ty kundo. Se někoho není přehrátí, můžete, já nevím, jestli můžu za ně přehrát nebo ne. Yes, už to střílí zase jako při staru. Už jsme mít 2, ty kundo. Že co, Nioko? Budu mít ten granátomet. In combat. Nemůžu, že? Nevadí. Každopádně asi jdeme to fišku na western style. OK. Počkej, on se stane, že? 200, jo? Tak počkej, v tom případě vyřešíme to takhle. Tak pojď, ty kundo. 600, nice. Další kundy, nice. Ještě to musím rozbít vlastně tahle zbraně, já s tím použil, takže se mi rozbije prostě. Ne. Mě nám Můžu jít nahoru do piče? Nemůžu jít nahoru. Já se potřebuji se vyhealovat nějak. Nice. Já mám přibito, jasně, že nemám. Počkejte, mu dát to damage. 50, je to už docela dojebaný, takže vyměníme zbraň. Co to je? Lehký kulomet, 58. Víte co? Co to žere? Energy. Kurva, já nemůžu je potřebovat. Já nemůžu prostě je používat. Dáme třeba toto. To používat ty heavy náboje. Ta heavy není prostě špatná, ta astrografa není prostě špatná. Ale 3 pomalu. Healuj se, ty kokot. Pojď, utíkej, jak to zvládneš. Uf. Pojď. Už jenom 2, OK. Kundo, neser. Nice, teďka pojď sem ty kundo, ještě můžu rozjebat hlavu. Jasně, že ne. Ach jo, přebiju. OK, to je trošku těžší boss, jsem čekal. Cípni už, kurva! No konečně! Že to trvalo, ty debile jen posranej. Ty kokot. OK, tak vězení zatím asi nejtěžší mise, kterou tady máme. Ach jo. Hej, kolik nám to zabralo? Zabralo to 10 minut zabít toho bosse asi. Nebo já nevím kolik prostě, něco nám to zabralo. Se asi zkusím tady nabrat co nejvíce nábojů, co to jde po těch zmrdech. No a asi už půjdeme, no. Každopádně musím najít nějaký working bench, protože jinak jako tuhle zbraň prostě nechci já nevím, jestli se dá zničit prostě nějak zbraň používáním, ale doufám, že ne, protože by přišel o tuhle zbraň, tak je to hodně v píči už. Protože pak už to bude jenom těžší a těžší. Co je tady? Bude to úplně to samý. Nic nebudu se s tím buzerovat, to normálně dal. Nebudu se s tím buzerovat. Já dobrý čestín být. Čestín, já být dobrý čestín. Jo, no to tady to. To je ta kunda? Jej, jsme naživu. Viniasi, vítej zpět, ty zmrde.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough. Ah, all in a day's work for you, huh? You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish. You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated. I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Aha.
So we've got to make do on our own. Seems to me that'll make us stronger in the end anyhow.
You're quite right. We've got no choice but to make do on our own.
You mean we're all alone out here? Really alone?
I'm afraid so, Miss Holcomb. Halcyon is the only home we have left. Returning to Earth is no longer an option. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
OK, takže to hodně v píčí. My jsme ztratili kontakt se zemí a nějaký prostě velvyslanec země byl nejspíš teda zabit. Je to docela zajímavý.
Starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us? I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves, but I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together, somehow. We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
Okay.
The OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. Sanjar's civil liberties and worker-centric policies were slow to catch on with the other corporations. But as Halcyon began its long, arduous journey toward recovery, many of Terra 2's smaller townships started adopting MSI's alternative corporate structure, and eventually became entirely self-sufficient. In the coming years, many of these townships managed to eke by, where otherwise they might have starved. Adelaide McDevitt replaced Reed Thompson as the leader of Edgewater. She and her followers transformed Edgewater in their image. Anyone loyal to Reed was pressured into leaving town, and those who stayed behind adapted to her way of life. Adelaide transformed the old cannery into a new garden. The nearby Edgewater Cemetery provided a convenient source of fertilizer. It was said that the first corpse that fed her garden belonged to Reed Thompson. Junlei Tennyson fought to protect the groundbreakers' independence. While the board's influence faded, mechanical difficulties forced her to rely on parts that only corporations could provide. The cost was high, and time would tell if Junlei could balance the work with her aspirations for a better future. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed. Though Parvati eventually grew comfortable aboard the Unreliable, she never quite came out of her shell. And she often wished aloud that her dad was still alive to teach her about the finer points of starship care and maintenance. While the colony fell into chaos, she found an island of relative peace with Ada, and they formed an unusual bond. She decided to remain aboard the Unreliable permanently as its chief and sole engineer. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, an MSI subsidiary of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide, or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories, could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. Before his untimely death, Captain Alex Hawthorne had plans to restore and modify, for combat purposes, a sanitation and maintenance automechanical that he'd found in a state of disrepair in Emerald Vale's scrapyard. That unit remains broken down and forgotten in the Unreliable supply closet to this day. Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
Počkej, to je konec? To je konec? Ale že to není možný. To není možný, aby tohle byl konec. Ne. Ne. Ne, já kurva nechci konec. Ne. Proč? Hej, proč je to prdele konec? Já jsem četl, že to má mít 30 hodin příběhu. 30 hodin příběhu. Můžu to nějak... Počkej, dáme continue, schválně. Schválně dáme continue, protože toto nemůže být konec. Toto nemůže být. Ono to je fakt konec. To je fakt konec hlavního příběhu. OK. Každopádně, dámy a pánové, pokud jste tuhle sérii užili, jako já jsem fakt zklamaný, jako fakt jsem čekal, že to bude pokračovat, protože teďka mi to fakt začalo, ale fakt pořádně začalo bavit. Jako jo, máme tady nějaký vedlejší mise a podobné kundoviny, ale... Hej, prostě asi musím zjistit reálný playtime, protože toto fakt není možné, aby to byl konec. Tam musí být něco skrytého, co jsem prostě mohl udělat. To není možný, prostě aby tohle byl konec. Tohle fakt není možný. Já nechci, aby to končilo. Ale jo, nebudu se zdržet. Každopádně, dámy a pánové, pokud se vám video líbilo, hoďte like, komentář, video sdílejte a dámy a pánové, i to se povídá. Karma je zdarma.